Gentlemen, the Prime Minister has arrived. Please be seated. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Mr. Robert Tanyuk, Chairman, Caribbean Packaging Industries. Mr. Conrad George, Chairman, Jamaica Packaging Industries. Mr. Sidney Thwaites, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association. Mr. Mitri Siaga, Chairman of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, President of the Bank of Nova Scotia Jamaica Limited. Mrs. Susan Roit, Principal Shareholder. Mr. Olivier Castera, Head of Manufacturing Division, Group Chief Financial Officer, Canadian Overseas Packaging Industries, parent company of JPI. Member of Parliament Anthony Hilton, Mr. Darren Lay, Regional Managing Director, and the other members of the Regional Management Team. Mr. Howard Mitchell, Director of JPI. Ms. Denise Gallimore Epley. Reverend Father Franklin Johnson, priest, the Church of St. Margaret. Members of the board, specially invited guests, members of the media, staff. 70 years of building not just a business, but a legacy. I'm certain you would agree with that. And if you agree, put your hands together. We want to start off this morning's celebration with prayer. And it is my pleasure to invite at this time Reverend Father Franklin Jackson, the priest of the Church of St. Margaret.
We bow our heads for prayer. Let us pray. God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in time of need. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. He will not suffer your foot to be moved, and he that keepeth you will not sleep. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord himself is your keeper. The Lord is your shade upon your right hand. The sun shall not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. Yea, it is even he that shall keep your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in forever. Almighty and ever-living God, rule of all things in heaven and on earth, we thank you for occasions of celebration. And our friends have invited us to celebrate their 70th year of existence, of operation in this land. We thank you for the 80 years and 10. And pray, Lord, that as they launch on new activities in the celebration of their 70th year, you will give them grace and courage to persevere. We ask your blessing upon the leaders in this land. And here we pray for Patrick, our Governor General, for Andrew, our Prime Minister, for Mark, Leader of the Parliamentary Opposition, for all members in leadership in government, in business, commerce, and industry. We thank you, mighty God, that you have placed synergies in our land, like the synergy between our friends from other shores as they work with us towards developing this land. And so we pray, mighty God, for the Jamaica Package Industry Limited, and we pray for their parent company in another land, and ask that the synergy between them will continue to redound to your honor and to your glory. Mighty God, there are many challenges, but we know that you are able to do in us and through us and by us all that Jamaica needs now. So bless us, Eternal Father, with your mighty hand. And guide us, we pray you, that as we seek to serve you, by the power of your resurrection, you'll make us strong to overcome. Be with us now in this occasion of celebration. And may all we do or think or say here be done to your honor and to your glory. Bless every single Jamaican and all our friends who come to do business with us, especially our children. We ask you to protect them. Be with us now in this occasion of celebration, and grant us those things which we fear to ask or we dare not ask because of your great love for us. Bless us and keep us, because we ask all this in the mighty name, the matchless name, the precious name of Jesus Christ, our risen Lord and Savior. Amen.
Thank you, Father Jackson. You know, there are no coincidences in life, none at all. In January, I journeyed to this place to buy chicken boxes because I needed to utilize them for storage because I was doing some work and I needed to store things. So I went to the retail area, and I must say the staff there were extremely professional. It wasn't enough, and I had to come back a second time. So I am one of those who have had that experience on this property. And you know, the board is important, the management is important, but if your workers don't deliver in a professional manner, there is a challenge. And I didn't find that challenge when I came here. The current investment by the Jamaica packaging industry is the most significant and bold investment move in its 70 years of existence, representing a major milestone for the company and its shareholders. I know the Prime Minister and the Chairman and other persons will fill you in, and their bankers, with more details as we go through the morning. But thanks again for being here. It is now my pleasure to ask the Chairman of JPI, Mr. Conrad George, to come forward and bring his remarks. Mr. George.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies, or MC, depending on what the correct term is. Most Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister of Mining, Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Mr. Mitra Siaga, President of PSOJ, Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, President and CEO of Scotiabank, Mr. Sidney Thwaites, President of the JMEA, Mrs. Susan Rowett, shareholder, Mr. Olivier Castera, Managing Director of JPI's parent company, over from Monaco, Mr. Robert Tanyuk, Chairman of the Trinidadian subsidiary, up from Port of Spain, Mr. Darren Lee, Managing Director of the Caribbean, the regional operations, also up from Port of Spain, Mr. Howard Mitchell, my fellow director of JPI, and Ms. Denise Gallimore of Epley. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the board, shareholders, and management of Jamaica Packaging Industries, I welcome you to a celebration of two developments. First, JPI is proud to mark 70 years of continuous operations in Jamaica. And secondly, JPI has invested in this multi-million-dollar manufacturing facility, which you see around you, with a view to boosting its share of the Jamaican packaging market and developing its export business. The new facility has increased JPI's production capacity by some 250%. We are particularly pleased to be joined by Susan Rowett, one of our 2 shareholders, and her husband Tim, son John Anthony, and daughter Hannah. We are also pleased to be joined by the managing director of our parent company, Olivier Castera, who is based in Monaco, as I said earlier, and the regional managing director, Darren Lee, and the chairman of Trinidad, the Trinidadian operation, up from Port of Spain. By way of background, JPI is a subsidiary of Canadian Overseas Packaging Industries, as you can see from the placard, which is part of the Calmanson family's international holdings, all based in packaging, which span Europe, Africa, and the Caribbean. We are pleased that with such international options, the shareholders have decided to increase their investment in Jamaica. Emphasizing this commitment of the next generation of the family to Jamaica, John Anthony has in fact been working as an intern on the shop floor for the last several months, assisting with the commissioning of the new plant. And that was before there were any fans here. JPI looks forward to a positive future, developing its export business in justification of the shareholders' faith in Jamaica as a viable investment option. We have, ladies and gentlemen, an excellent lineup of speakers for you today. I'm delighted to tell you that our Prime Minister has graciously agreed to be our keynote speaker. He needs no introduction. He is, I believe, in full-on pre-election mode and is fired up for the contest. We look forward to hearing from him in due course later in the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. And if you are given a fan, don't be afraid to use it. You're in a factory, okay? You're in a factory, so get comfortable, use your fan. And it's 70 years of growing, but there's still so much more to do. That's what this investment is saying to us and saying to Jamaica. And now it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Garrick Hole, Country Manager, to bring his greetings.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, I am very excited, so I can't promise you that I'll be as brief as our chairman. I join Chairman George in welcoming Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mr. Metri Siaga, President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, Mr. Sidney Thwaites, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, and a customer, Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, President and CEO of Scotiabank, Jamaica. We're all deeply honored by your presence at this important occasion. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, we're equally honored by your presence. Partners, stakeholders, and importantly, our shareholders, colleagues, and the full JPI team, thank you. This moment belongs to all of you. As country manager, I have had the opportunity to witness the vision and commitment of our shareholders, the astute management at the group and regional level, and the hard work and dedication of my local team. It is our combined effort, determination, patience, and precision that have brought us to this point. Today marks a significant step in JPI's history. It is a clear statement about our belief in Jamaica and the role that strong local manufacturing must play in our future. For context, Jamaica Packaging Industries has been serving the country's packaging needs for over 70 years. We took a turn in 2000 when we ceased manufacturing locally, but we shifted to a distribution model, but we never abandoned our commitment to Jamaica. Fast forward 2017, our shareholders made a bold and deliberate move, re-entering the manufacturing space by acquiring a local competitor, Corpac. That decision, ladies and gentlemen, was rooted in a deeper vision, and that vision was to produce more and better right here at home. Here we are today, 5 years later, and what better way to celebrate our 70th anniversary than with another significant investment. As we showcase this facility here at 693 Spanish Town Road, this is the site of a US $12.5 million investment in facility that represents, and if I do the conversion at today's rate, it's 2 billion Jamaican dollars. This investment in a facility that represents the next era for JPI and packaging in Jamaica. Every detail of this facility reflects strategy, not chance. It was influenced by impressive growth, yes, but more importantly, by a clear understanding of the critical need for more locally produced, high-quality corrugated packaging to truly support Jamaica's range of sectors. This investment sets us apart, and I'll tell you how. This impressive facility is 75,000 square feet, and it sits on just over 3 acres. It brings together our manufacturing, distribution, and retail operations, and you'd have heard Faye mention our retail operations. It allows for expanded production, greater efficiency, and more responsive service, including quicker turnaround time and just-in-time delivery. Today, we showcase the most modern, state-of-the-art corrugator in the English-speaking Caribbean. And the corrugator, when you get a chance after this, is that long machine that runs the entire length of this building. We have also invested in a technologically advanced high-speed folder gluer, which is capable of printing, slotting, gluing, folding cartons all in one single pass. That's efficiency and speed. We also invested in a modern die cutting machine, and that will boost our die cutting capabilities. The new die cutter can produce most complex custom packaging designs. It is sitting on the port. It arrived on Sunday. Sorry we couldn't get it here in time to showcase today, but next time you all visit, it will be sitting right over here. Beyond machinery, we have invested in a suite of other peripheral equipment that will support high volume, high quality production. And this is complemented by investment in a new enterprise resource system that will help us to manage the business and our core functions. Ladies and gentlemen, combined, these technologies form the very backbone of our production and have immediately increased our production capacity by over 250%. That's correct, 250% increase in production capacity. I hope my bosses will forgive me for saying this, but in addition to the $12.5 million invested already, we are in discussion to continue to invest further. So I expect that in a few months, we will see additional investment in production capacity. And I think that we will move to about 300% within short order. At JPI, it's not just about making boxes and selling boxes. We also believe that industrial operations like this can and must be environmentally friendly, environmentally responsible. So to demonstrate our commitment to sustainability, we invested in an effluent plant And that plant treats our wastewater before it leaves our site. It's the first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean. So I have a lot of existing clients, prospective clients, business leaders here. So I need to tell you why this investment matters to Jamaica as a whole and to you. Currently, 60% of cartons used in Jamaica are imported. Think about that. 60% of cartons used in Jamaica are imported. That's significant foreign exchange leaving our shores. It creates dependencies that can impact supply chains and the competitiveness of our local businesses. So ladies and gentlemen, supporting local manufacturing, you are strengthening supply chains, building a stronger Jamaican economy. Your investment stays here, fueling job creation and national development. Ladies and gentlemen, let us support local manufacturing. To our loyal customers present, I thank you sincerely for the confidence and your support. To those who are not yet converted, we are saying to you, you don't need to look anywhere else. We're here. We're ready. Come to us for your packaging needs. 70 years, our linkages throughout the Kopi Group, I can assure you that we know how to make a quality box. I'm sorry that Minister Hill couldn't make it, but as I know he's a champion of exports, right, Prime Minister? He will be happy to learn that in addition to serving our local market, we have started exporting corrugated sheets to Trinidad. And while exports are critical, I wish to add my voice by saying we also need to think about import substitution as a means of increasing productivity and growing our economy. We're proud to say that we are ISO certified. Therefore, every carton that is manufactured in this facility is done to exacting standards. We give you our assurance that our products stand head and shoulder with the best in the world. In addition to high quality, we offer competitive prices, convenience, superior customer service. Right, Faye? Thank you. Our inventory and delivery systems are built for ease and convenience and efficiency. We are committed, we are capable, and we are ready to serve you. For 70 years, JPI has been a proud partner in Jamaica's growth. Today, we renew that commitment with more tools, more talent, and more tenacity. Before I close, please allow me to extend sincere gratitude to some of our very important partners who made this possible. The corrugator is 110 meters long, and it took us 9 months to find a suitable building to hold a machine that long. That has to be in a straight line, and we could never have done that without the help of Epley. Our bankers, Scotiabank, Audrey, thank you very much. Thanks to you and the rest of the team. Without you, I don't think we could have been here so quickly. To our other supporting partners, and I see a few, but time does not permit me to single out everybody, but I extend to you all our sincere gratitude. This moment belongs to you also. Ladies and gentlemen, as we showcase this facility and allow you a closer look to see what we have built, I urge you, picture how this can serve your business. Let us strengthen our nation together. 60% imported cartons is too much. Choose local, choose quality, choose JPI. Thank you.
You wouldn't want to choose anything else after you've listened to that. Choose local, choose JPI. And I was just about to say, Prime Minister, that he seems to be on a campaign. I mean, but you know what that is like. Mr. Mitchell, as you sit there, as in Howard Mitchell, and I know you are reflecting on your involvement in this company many years ago on Marcus Garvey Drive, but here you are today, you're still a director, I believe, supporting where the company goes. We talk about new technologies, and I sat down there and I was thinking about packaging when I was a little girl. A dry banana leaf, we put in the box with the things. Right? Let me speak in the English because there's some persons from Canada are here. We use dried banana leaves to package the yams and package the ripe banana. And let us not forget that because many people are still using that kind of technology, but in your new boxes. So there's a collaboration and an intersection. And it is now my time to ask Mrs. Susan Roit to come forward and bring her remarks. She's a shareholder. Could you welcome her? Real Jamaican welcome, please.
Most Honourable Prime Minister and all our valued guests, I'm so very happy to be here today on behalf of my brother and myself as shareholders for this significant milestone in the history of Jamaica packaging industries. Corrugated packaging manufacturing is a pretty good barometer of the economy of a country. And these 70 years have certainly been a bumpy ride. And I just want to give a little bit of family history, elaborate what Conrad said, to reflect on how we got here today. Because you think, why am I here in Jamaica? So it goes back to my grandfather, Dr. John. He was a medical doctor in London. And through circumstances of World War II and his bad health, he relocated to South Africa, where he built up a packaging business. In the early 50s, he sent his two sons, my father, Anthony, and my uncle, John Michael, to investigate operations in the Caribbean, opportunities in the Caribbean. And interestingly, they were already supplying some markets in the Caribbean from South Africa back in the 40s. And thus JPI was born along with sister companies in Trinidad and Barbados. In the 60s, the brothers sold the South African business, but kept the Caribbean and East Africa, and later added a UK businesses, which is where my brother and I grew up. But my father had developed a great fondness over the years in the 50s for Jamaica, 50s and 60s. So in the early 70s, he bought a holiday home in Ocho Rios. And we were lucky enough then to visit it for holidays throughout the 70s and the 80s, making special friends and having special times. So we're not Jamaican, but we have part of our heart is in Jamaica. And okay. The economic policies of the times made for a very challenging business environment and resulted in a large exodus of manufacturing businesses. But those 20 years of good times and special ties in this country gave us a deep affection for Jamaica and made us persevere and cling on here. And the erosion of the manufacturing base of our customers in Jamaica eventually forced JPI to cease manufacturing, as Gary has outlined, in 2002, and supply as a distributor from Trinidad. But my brother and I always hoped for an upturn or stability in Jamaica and that we could return. So in 2017, with the improving business environment, we took the opportunity to invest in Jamaica by acquiring my dear friend Howard Mitchell's business. And so JPI recommenced manufacturing. And consequent to that, we then took the decision to reinvest further and relocate to create a thoroughly modern production facility which Jamaica deserves. And that is what we're celebrating today. And continuing the family tradition, my brother and I dispatched my son, John Anthony, yet another John. And he came here about a year ago and was here when the first truckloads of machinery arrived. And he worked hard here as an intern. He graduated from just being a man that heaved things off the trucks to actually being allowed to tighten bolts on the corrugator that you see. So he's not only been learning of the corrugated business, he's also been acquiring a love for Jamaica. Although it's been a little bit confined to the industrial area, he will expand his horizons to various golf courses. And I must thank Claudine at Scotiabank for checking on his patty consumption, because he is a bit skinny, so that's good. And interestingly, I found a picture of my father visiting here in 1955, and he would then have been about the same age as John. So it's quite nice that generations later, we continue it. So JPI, as Gary has eloquently outlined, aims to supply Jamaican customers with Jamaican boxes made to the highest standards with customer-orientated focus on box designs, print, delivery times, and order quantities. And to help Jamaican businesses thrive. So we as a family reaffirm our commitment to Jamaica today, and we want to thank the directors of JPI, Howard Mitchell and Conrad George, for their wisdom and their guidance. And I just want to say that Emil George and Conrad George have between them over 38 years that we've had their wisdom as chair of JPI. And then I want to thank Scotiabank and EPLI for their support that led up to us being able to make this investment today. And finally, thank you to Olivier and the regional team from Trinidad for their support, and most of all to Gary and Oswin and Raymond and Dave and all of you here that have led over the 1 year ago till today, we're in full operation. So well done to JPI.
Thank you, Mrs. Roy, Susan Roy. I was just getting some information on John. Prime Minister, he's an intern. He's working on getting his work permit so he can stay on. Okay, John? And then, John, it's mango season now, and you have many boxes in which you can put mangoes, and there are many different kinds. So make sure, why are you laughing, Prime Minister? Many different kinds of mangoes. All right, so you make sure you have your boxes filled with mangoes. Julie, East Indian, Bombay, hairy mango, sweetie come brush me, all kind of mango. Number 11, turpentine, all kind of mango. Now be very careful, that's a lot of sugar. No. Warning to everybody, okay? It is indeed my pleasure to see when there's a Jamaican woman at the top of any industry, any sector, any organization, and we are just so happy with this lady I'm about to introduce, Mrs. Audrey Tugwell Henry, President and CEO of Scotiabank Jamaica. Wow, you and your team worked to get this 110-meter-long piece of equipment that Gary spoke about installed, but most of all, financed. Could you welcome her?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I know we have observed the protocols, but please allow me to recognize our Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Andrew Holness, our Chairman, Mr. Conrad George, and Suzanne, our shareholder, with so much passion and love for our country. Suzanne, you are Jamaican. We have adopted you and John and your family, so thank you so much. Also, let me recognize Mr. Cole, Gary Cole, our country manager, and all the other industry leaders present and association leaders, and Robert from their Trinidad office. It is truly my pleasure to be here representing Scotiabank. This is such an outstanding achievement. This is such an important day for our country. I know, Prime Minister, you have talked about growth. Growth is an important part of our agenda, and this is a good example of putting in place opportunities for growth for our economy. So I'm very pleased to be here, and I want to congratulate JPI on its 70th year of packaging in Jamaica, and this is a milestone. You know, we are an old company as well, so we know what it takes to keep a company going for that long. The journey started with your vision to re-enter manufacturing in Jamaica, a vision driven by your desire to serve your clients more efficiently, and which required a shift from distribution to manufacturing and production. In 2016, when you took that bold step, Scotiabank was there with you. We saw the vision that you had for the company and for Jamaica, and we stood with you proudly and grew with you as you laid the foundation for what we have here today. And when you took the other bold step to increase your production capacity by installing the magnificent corrugator, which you'll all see later on, Scotiabank was again here to support you. The realization of this vision requires a clear mindset and your sights set on the long term. Any investment that increases production by 250% is not a short-term investment. It is a long-term investment, and it requires a commitment to the future and the confidence that you have in our country. The impact that you will have on the community, adding jobs to the economy, upskilling employees, training and development, and of course, import substitution. That deserves a round of applause. Those are just some of the value-added contributions that JPI has made. Not only did you expand your production capacity, but in doing so, you also made sure that you would impact the environment positively through your recycling of waste production, alongside with your cutting-edge wastewater effluent treatment plant. That, I have to say, is very commendable, ladies and gentlemen. At Scotiabank, we offer a diverse range of products and services, including commercial and small business banking, wealth management, and mortgages. And in the past year, we have received many accolades. But our accolades is not why we are here. Our reason for being here is the impact that we're making on Jamaica, on companies, to grow our economy and grow our country. And we, over the last year, through the team led by Maurice Nelson, have increased our loans to commercial entities by 12% year over year. And it reflects our commitment to the growth and development of Jamaica. We also support women-owned businesses, and we're very pleased through our Scotia Women Initiative to have been able to pour some of that into this facility with Suzanne as a major shareholder. It is always a good sign when businesses come together to grow and expand, and Scotiabank is proud to be your partner. We congratulate Jamaica Packaging Industries on 70 years of operations in Jamaica, and thank you for your continued relationship with Scotiabank and with the people of Jamaica. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to do a little bit of changing around here. Please stay with me. Right. You don't know I can do this thing. You run to come help me. Thank you so very much for your kind assistance. Thank you. Audrey, thank you for the support you've given to this business, that so many of us can benefit from doing business with this business. And yes, I was at an event recently where the work you do with small businesses, for women in particular, was highlighted, and that is greatly appreciated. It's not just that they give them a loan or a grant or something, you know. They take them through weeks of training, and I didn't know that that existed, so congratulations. Put your hands together for Audrey Tugwell-Henry and President and CEO of Scotiabank on the work they do. And now Mr. Sidney Thwaites, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, will bring greetings. There's Mr. Thwaites. Oh, there he is. Hold on, this is height.
Thank you. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, our Prime Minister, Mr. Conrad George, the Chairman of JPI, Mr. Metris Siaga, the Chairman of the PSOJ, Mrs. Audrey Tugwell, the President of Scotiabank, and Mrs. Roy, Principal Shareholders. Thank you for having me today. It's an honor. I stand before you representing manufacturers in Jamaica, just under 500 manufacturers, so I'm in my element. If you've heard me speak before, you know that I refer to our manufacturers as our superheroes. And to do that balancing act, we're balancing labor and supply, and we're balancing efficiency and equipment, and we're absorbing the external shocks, the internal shocks. We're doing all this, we're superheroes. And to do that over 70 years is nothing short of remarkable. So I'd like to, just for that, over 70 years is nothing short of remarkable. I know that I get asked a lot, and I'm sure the PM does. I'm sure Howard and Metri do as well. Can Jamaica manufacture competitively in the current environment? We answer that question by doing things like this, making investments and having our business community put their money where their mouth is. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this doesn't happen without the macroeconomic, the stability we've seen in Jamaica over a decade. It's taking those things that we've done. We've lowered our debt. We've lowered our interest payments. We've controlled our crime. We're doing the things that we have to do over very long periods of time. We're just very early in that. We need to do that over long periods of time. Invest in our infrastructure because we're not paying interest. This is the result of those things. A lot of times we hear that the average Jamaican can't feel what is going on. There's optimism on the business community side, but is everyone feeling it? These are the things that make everyone feel it. We're creating jobs. The team at JPI and COPI are creating jobs. They're good jobs. They're transplanting imports. We were importing 60% of our packaging. We love our neighbors in Trinidad, but we don't want your packaging. We want your carnival. We want your carnival. It creating the landscape as well. As a customer, I can tell you, it takes one more thing off my hands, right? I don't have to import containers of my packaging. I can buy locally. I can rely on my suppliers. I have a relationship. That ecosystem builds our businesses. It makes our job easier. It takes one more variable off the table. When weather is bad, hurricane hits, I don't have to wring my hands about my packaging, and I know my partners are here locally. I can't tell you what that does to the ecosystem of all manufacturing in Jamaica. So I sound a bit impassioned, but it's because I know what this does. I know what this looks like. I also know that all the guys on the side here who are the operators and run this plant, I understand how they feel about a new investment in equipment and new opportunities. It's a big deal. I also know that things go wrong in a plant anytime anyone visits, so they're going to be glad to get you out of here. So I'm going to keep my remarks short. I congratulate the JPI, the COPI team, the investors, the directors. I thank you for your confidence in Jamaica. This checks a lot of boxes as we think about the future of Jamaica and Jamaican manufacturing. And to be an example over 70 years and to continue to invest, I think is remarkable. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for letting me see it.
Thank you, Mr. Thwaites. You're 6'3" or 4? 6'3". I'm good at that. All right, 6'3". Okay, thank you so much. And nothing wrong with passion. Because if we're not passionate, we're not going to get anything done. You understand? So no need to apologize for that. You know, I was just thinking that, I don't know if you heard some of the things here. A state-of-the-art corrugator, the most modern in the English-speaking Caribbean. You heard that. A high-speed folder gluer machine capable of high-quality printing, slotting, gluing, and folding of cartons in a single pass. A modern die-cut machine designed to produce complex display cartons and display trays. An effluent treatment plant, the first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean, presents the opportunity for environmental leadership. And we know how important that is, environmental leadership. So let me congratulate you on all of these elements. And now, Mr. Nicholas Scott, Chairman, Epley Caribbean Property Fund, it's time for you to... You are speaking on behalf of Mr. Nicholas Scott. And you met me introduce you as Mr. Nicholas Scott. So, no, it's not okay. We have to find a way to fix that. So then if you... So Denise Gallimore is the person who is speaking on behalf of Epley and not Mr. Nicholas Scott. Could you welcome her, please?
Hi, thank you. Good morning. Not as handsome as Mr. Nicholas Scott, but I am quite pleased to be here. Good morning to everyone, all protocols observed. When we speak about vision, this is the reality of it. We represent the Epley Caribbean Property Fund, which is a listed mutual fund in Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and St. Vincent. It would have been an original Barbados fund, but we believed so much in Jamaica, where we live, work, and have our being. And so we would have seen the vision of the old Coca-Cola bottling plant. So we were here before JPI, and we are glad to be here with JPI, because JPI lives the vision that we saw of this old broken down factory, that most persons would ask us, why did we invest? Because it just didn't fit the profile of who we usually have our investments in. But as everybody has said, our vision is that Jamaica has the capacity to sustain investment. That cake looks very interesting. I'm sorry, guys. I'm also enthralled. So as we were saying, for us, it's not just the physical transformation of the space, but it's the collaboration between the two organizations. At Epley, we are always interested in investing with blue chip companies that are committed to where they are, because we're long-term investors. We have a view similar to JPI in their 70 years that we want them to be here in partnership with us to maintain their operations and to expand, and we want to be that partner of choice to be able to find that real estate kind of commercial mix to be able to sustain investments. So as I mentioned, for us, our vision at Epley is that when we invested in this property, we saw the revitalization on the industrial belt as significant, as important to our own shareholders who are on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and any of us has the opportunity to invest there. So for us, the transformation of the building and the vision that was had, and the back and forth, and we would have had with the JPI team, with Darren, with Raymond. I don't want to start calling names because I think most of the team would be familiar with what we would have gone through to get here. And so we stand here with pride, knowing that Jamaica Packaging Industries is celebrating 70 years and that they are a significant partner to us. And for us, when this is what is possible, when investment meets purpose, when bold ideas go forth and are matched by actions, and when strong partnerships are built on shared goals. And so to everyone who contributed, we hope that you see and feel a sense of pride. And we take the opportunity on behalf of the Epley Caribbean Property Fund and the wider Epley Group to congratulate the Jamaica Packaging Industries and the wider affiliated companies. And we look forward to working with you even more as you grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise Gallimore of Epley. And now it is my pleasure to bring the Prime Minister on. I know this is a very important occasion for him. When you talk about manufacturing and expanding on business, it's important for the country, it's important for him and his team. Sir, I know you have some other responsibilities right after, So then we're just going to welcome him. He has a very important appointment that he has to keep, so he may not be too long with us, but he's going to be with us anyway, and he will share his comments.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Faye, you are the person that would have been responsible for most of Jamaica's great elocutionists. I just thought I would big you up that way. And let me start with John. Now, you may not know the coded messages that Faye was sending about mangoes in the mango season. Take her literally, but not figuratively. Chairman Conrad George, Susan, you should apply for your passport immediately. It's such a lovely story, wouldn't you agree? A 70-year love affair with Jamaica. But more than that, a 70-year commitment to Jamaica. And a story which follows the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys of the Jamaican experience. It is important that we recognize that Jamaica did have, in the early days, a period when manufacturing boomed. And we also had a fairly long period when we were not able to compete. Many of those circumstances which saw the demise of the manufacturing sector in Jamaica, some of those circumstances were self-inflicted, purely as a consequence of government policy. Some of those circumstances, however, were because of global conditions, shifts in technology, shifts in demand, and other geopolitical shifts, including shifts in energy. Where are we today? We are at an inflection point. What do I mean by this? Jamaica has done what it should have been doing for the last 50 years in terms of putting its economy, its local economy, its economic management on the right footing. That has been alluded to by Mr. Thwaites, who spoke, by the chairman who spoke, by Audrey who spoke, by the representative of EPLI who spoke. I don't need to go back through them, but as Chairman George pointed out, we are in that season, that pre-election season, where these things have to be said, otherwise they will be ignored. So, you're not going to have a strong manufacturing industry when interest rates are high for manufacturers. You're not going to have a strong manufacturing industry when there is uncertainty about exchange rates and the availability of foreign exchange. You're not going to have a strong manufacturing sector when taxes are likely to increase and tax policy is uncertain. You're not going to have a strong manufacturing sector when you can't get access to credit. And I think by and large, though there are those who would want to deny, that Jamaica has solved these problems that have bedeviled us for over 50 years. Our foreign exchange situation is stable. In fact, Jamaica is the only country in this region that has a flexible exchange rate, a free exchange rate. Our inflation rate is well within the target. And I say well within the target because everyone who is in manufacturing and consumers pay attention to inflation. And once it is within the target, then you know you can plan. We have literally solved that. The Statin put out some inflation results for the last quarter. 0% inflation. Couldn't believe it when I saw it. I had to call and say, is this true? A few years ago, just after COVID, interest rates were sky high. They have come down nicely. I think they still have a little way to go, but they're down in territory that is livable. However, there are still some issues which will dog the manufacturing sector. One of them is the issue of security. Because we look at the issue of security as one that is essentially a matter of public safety. Meaning, how do I ensure that my citizens are safe in the public space, that lives are saved, that property is secure? But if you just step back from the problem of security, the problem of crime, murders, extortion, scamming, all of those issues that affect your staff, affect them coming to work on time, affect their ability to concentrate on their jobs because of what may be happening in their communities or to their relatives, affects you that you come to open the plant and then you realize something gone. I don't think they would take anything from here because everything is so heavy. And you have cameras all around and the place is well secured. But let's look at the ordinary shopkeeper who is not able to open their shops because there is some gang warfare going on. Or a retailer who comes in the morning, lifts up their shutter and finds that their entire stock is cleared out. In other words, the issue of security is not just one of safety. The issue of security, or rather insecurity, adds a cost to the cost of living. In other words, the cost of living that you experience as a citizen, a part of that is the cost of security. So every plant, every business operator has to add in their budget a line item which is quite significant for security. Therefore, if the government is able to reduce security concerns, then the cost of living to everyone reduces. So don't just look at this issue of the police getting on top of murders, getting on top of crime, as, yes, my community is secure, I can go outside and stay out late and party all night. That's fine, that's good. I want our people to be able to have fun safely. But it is also about the cost of doing business and the cost of living. When our murder rate reaches the sub 1,000, which it will this year, we will go below 1,000 murders. The first time in almost 30 years, we will below 1,000 murders. That is going to send a signal to business people and to the rest of the world that Jamaica is serious about making this country, making our country, a destination, not just for tourists to go into all-inclusive hotels, but to make Jamaica a destination for people to visit and for businesses to come and operate. So I wear full blue today to show my support for our security forces in ensuring that Jamaica is a safe place. "80% or more of murders in Jamaica are committed by gangs. We have a false notion that these gangs are an association of disenfranchised young men. Yes, there is an element of that. But the gangs that we are dealing with are more appropriately described as criminal enterprises. They are an organization of very intelligent persons who pool resources together for criminal intent. And their criminal intent is, one, to control areas and communities, to turn the persons who live in those areas and communities against the state, against the police, against all the institutions of the community. And thirdly, to control the custom and business within that space. They want to be able to sell their drugs exclusively, conduct their scamming operations exclusively, conduct their extortion exclusively. And then they take some of the profit and pretend that they are conducting welfare exercises. They will tell you, we'll help to send your children to school, but at night they call your daughter, or they send your son to commit a robbery. And then eventually, petty arguments happen between them. And then they send your son to go and carry out a vendetta killing. This is what is happening. I will be the first to tell you that my administration will never sit by and allow our state forces to act in a way that wantonly abuses the human rights of our citizens. That must never happen, and I want to reinforce that point and say it very loudly. That will never happen under my watch. We have worked very hard to transform the JCF. And you may see the outward transformation in its uniform, in its equipment, but you should also notice that there has been an amazing transformation in the leadership of the JCF, in the leadership and doctrine of the JCF. And I am satisfied that the men and women who are leading the JCF appreciates the importance of maintaining a high standard in protecting human rights. inasmuch as the police would have improved in their kinetic operations and in their tactics in terms of how they engage criminals who confront them, the JCF has also internally taken action against policemen and women who have acted outside the use of force policy. And I think Jamaicans, I'm not asking you to give up the healthy skepticism, because that is important to keep institutions in check. But Jamaicans need to be practical about where we are. For the first time in a long time, our capacity is at a level where it can adequately address the criminal enterprises that have dogged us for over 40 years. And we will continue on this path to respect the human rights of citizens, but deal appropriately with those criminals who challenge us. It is in our best interest that we continue along this path. And that is why I'm saying that we are at an inflection point. An inflection point is the point at which the rate of change increases relative to the effort exerted. And that's what we're going to see happen. As the police improves its interdiction, and by the way, you know, there is a sense which is suggesting that the police is only relying upon its kinetic operations in engaging those criminals who confront them. You would have noticed that the police has improved their investigative capabilities. Crimes that have been committed, high-profile crimes, within weeks, the police would have been able to interdict and discover who were the persons behind it and bring them to justice. And that is because we have invested heavily in the intelligence gathering and training of our investigators, and in fact expanded the number of investigators. Bear in mind as well that we have also increased the number of persons in the JCF. So we are taking all the steps, as we have taken the steps on the fiscal side, reducing our debt to GDP ratio, bringing down interest rates, bringing down inflation, managing our foreign exchange appropriately, keeping high reserves. 10 budgets of no new taxes. So on the fiscal side, we are doing everything possible to moderate, control, and bring down the cost of living and the cost of doing business, and increasing the attractiveness of Jamaica as a destination. Now, on the social side, the biggest problem is crime. And this administration is doing what is necessary. For 3 years, you're seeing a reduction. We got 7%, then 19%, and currently we're at about 37% year to date. So let's continue on this path. Don't make excuses for the criminals. For too long, the conversation has favored the criminals. Now it is time to ensure that the victims get justice. But once we conquer this, once we bring our murders down, that's one more asset that makes Jamaica a favorable destination. But we have another challenge, ladies and gentlemen. And that challenge is labor. Jamaica has, without question, some of the most hard-working people you can find. Some of the most creative and innovative, loyal and committed people you can find. But you know what the problem is? As the economy is expanding, we can't find enough of them. If you talk to any business person today, they will say to you, we do not have enough labor as we are trying to meet our expansion plans. But if you go in the rest of the society, there is the notion that people out there not working. The latest survey of the labor force reveals that Jamaica has a fairly high participation rate. Fairly high participation rate. But there are still persons who are not in the labor force, but who could be in the labor force. And there are still persons who are in activities that you could consider to be underemployed. But if we were to get them skilled, they could move out of those underemployment situations into better employment situations. And if you consider carefully what I have said as it relates to security, you could also ask yourself, where are some of the Jamaicans that are not in the labor force? Some of them are in gangs. Some of them are in criminal activities. And so the strategy of the government is to make crime an unprofitable endeavor, so that our young men and young women who may be attracted by those kinds of endeavors will realize crime does not pay, and make themselves available to, one, getting trained and upskilled, and then making themselves available to the labor force. So in addition to what we're doing with making criminal enterprise unattractive, we have also tried our best with the resources that we have to invite our young people into the world of training. Heart training is now free of cost. If you are a youngster, you're not sure what you want to do with your life, you may very well be taken care of by your parent, and so you don't really need to work. You may want to work, but you say, boy, what they're offering me is not good enough. We need you in the labor force. We need your skills and your talent. If you are a youngster and you are being invited to join a gang, I will say to you, young man, forget about that. There are jobs that are paying well, that are waiting for you, but you need to have a skill. Go to heart and get trained. You will find very well that this is advice that will save your life. I want to make another point as I close. As I said, the fanning, everybody's hot. There is a global shift taking place. Global shifts happen all the time. It accounts for the peaks and troughs. Global shifts happen, cost of energy went up, policies changed. You couldn't manufacture in Jamaica. FinSAC hit the business community. And we said, you know what? We can't manufacture here, so we have to import. The more we have to import, the more foreign exchange we need. And if we're not earning the foreign exchange, then we're going to have to borrow. And then we put ourselves in debt. And then the roads can't be fixed. Hospitals are not maintained. Teachers can't be paid. And then the country goes down. But if we anticipate global shifts and we prepare for global shifts, then if there is going to be a trough, a fall off, a recession, we can attenuate that, we can mitigate that, we can make the fall off smaller. And if we are truly active and strategic, we can recover quickly from any shock that is going to happen. So yes, there is a global change that is likely to happen. There are those, because of the uncertainty, are projecting that there could be a recession, there could be a fall off. But obviously, Mrs. Rowett and the chairman and the other investors don't feel that way. They have made a $2 billion investment in this factory. And the reason why they would go ahead and risk that level of capital is because whilst there may be global uncertainty, they have confidence in the economic management that has led Jamaica for the last 9 years. But I want to give them and other manufacturers even more confidence. This building exists along our historical industrial belt, Spanish Town Road going on to Marcus Garvey. This was a core of manufacturing. What you would have seen happen in the last few years is a resuscitation of this corridor. This is not the only building that has been taken over and renovated along this corridor and manufacturers have come in. I can count at least 8. Along Marcus Garvey Drive, the same thing is happening. But more than that, along Mandela Highway in the Cayman Islands, that is also happening as well. So we are having heavy industrial and light industrial manufacturing re-emerging in Jamaica. And the government is supporting this. We're supporting this by creating special economic zones, making lands available, and building infrastructure. So I want to say here that the Spanish Town Road that runs along this property, which is a major thoroughfare, which has not been substantially repaired maybe in over 20 or 25 years, that road is now slated for a major overhaul to make it far more efficient for the manufacturing operations and commuters to access the property. But the last issue that affects the manufacturers here is energy. You talk about being able to substitute your local manufacturing for imports, and you refer to our friends in Trinidad. Trinidad has the energy advantage over us because we don't have oil. And I have seen suggestions that somehow Jamaica has oil somewhere. Well, you know, if God smile on us, or, you know, we get some windfall of that natural resource, well, great for us. But Singapore doesn't have oil either. And what they have managed to do there is to improve the resources in their people, in their regulatory environment, in the efficiency of their economy, in the security of their society. And that's what we are doing here, improving our management of the economy, improving our security. I've already said what we're going to do to improve our regulatory environment. And lastly, we are going to have to take some profound measures to ensure that your energy costs are competitive, if not less than others in our region. We are going to make some bold moves as it relates to energy. So stay tuned for that. The next time that I speak on the topic, you will hear the bold moves that the government will make for energy. So I want to thank you for being such a wonderful audience, for listening intently, and congratulations to JPI and the Canadian investors who have invested quite significantly in Jamaica. And I close by saying, choose JPI, choose Jamaica. God bless you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We are almost at the end of the event. Thank you so very much. Choose JPI, choose Jamaica. Please remember that we will have refreshments for you when we are through. There is an invitation that is being issued to the workers here. Don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are because I have an invitation for you. Right after the cake cutting, the Prime Minister is inviting you to join him on stage for a photograph. All the workers here. So I'm going to take off this microphone so that somebody can remove the lectern and the microphone stand while we go to the cake cutting. So the people responsible now for cake cutting, Mrs. Susan Roit, we need you there. John, we need you here. That's John Roit. Conrad George, we need you here. And Carol Kong, the JPI staff member of 46 years. 46 years, Carol Kong. Wow, where's Carol? Ay, 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 here she is. All right, so there's a knife there. Organize, go in a little bit closer, John. I think all of you should be on one side. Now, everyone, this is a box, but it is a cake. And everything that's on that cake is edible. No. Right, the Prime Minister is going to be doing the official turning on of the equipment. Hang on a moment. We have to do this in real Jamaican style. Yes, Susan, put your hand there. What happened to you, Chairman? We need you there. John, we need you there. Right? So we're counting by mangoes now. 1 mango, 2 mangoes, 2.5 mangoes, 3 mangoes. Wow, clap them. Clap them. So everybody will get a taste of the cake in a while. Now, PM, I know you have some responsibilities, so let me, everyone, staff members, you're all now required on stage to take a photograph of the Prime Minister. So come on up, all staff members. Come on up, come on up, come on up. All staff members. And everybody else, could you please be seated? Just be seated, everyone, because after this photograph, let me step down. After this photograph, we're going to be having the Prime Minister doing the official turning on of the equipment. So all staff members, the Prime Minister inviting you on stage to take a group photograph, a company photograph with him. Yes, go on up, everybody, all staff members. It's quite a gesture. Gary? I have a feeling you may need to step forward a bit, Mr. PM, because it's a big group. Could you come forward about 2 steps, Prime Minister? Let me pass you, please. Let me go around you. Sorry, let me go around you, please. Yes. Yes. More are coming up. More coming up. We want to get everybody there. I don't know why I'm going to, Prime Minister, I'm going to ask you to step forward another step and a half so that everybody can hold. The photographers will take it from there. They'll guide you and tell you when to look, when not to look, etc., etc. Let me get out of your way. Right, everybody there yet? Oh, we have more coming up, and he wants everybody in the photograph, all staff members. Oh, so some will be down and some will remain up. Some of you remain on the platform. Not everybody needs to come down. Some of you, where is our 47-year-old? Where is Carol Kong? Carol, I think you should be down beside the PM and between the PM and Mr. Cole. Right. All right. Okay. Are we every member of staff up here now? Now, here's a tip. If somebody head blocking you and you're looking at them head back, that means the cameraman won't see you. Put yourself in between. In between. Put yourself, and if you're very tall in front of somebody very short, change place. Change place. Pay attention to the photographers now. They're asking you to look at the cameras. Me no drink coffee, tea, mango time. Care how nice it may be, mango time. At the height of the mango crop. You ready? You done? One moment, sir. They want you to say JPI 70, everybody, for social media. All right? You know how it goes, Mr. Prime Minister. So everybody, after 3, you know what you're going to say? JPI 70, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Prime Minister, don't take your seat, sir, because we now need to work you. We now need to work you to turn on. Prime Minister, the commissioning of the factory, the Prime Minister, Mr. Sidney Thwaites, you need to join the Prime Minister. Mrs. Royd and John Royd, you need to join the Prime Minister, Mr. Gary Cole, and Mr. Conrad George. And that is for the commissioning of the factory. Everybody else, please be seated. Everyone else, staff, everybody else, we need to do this smoothly. Everyone else, please be seated. We're just going to do the commissioning and then we can go and have some refreshments. All staff, please be seated. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you so much. So media will be accompanying. Mr. Sidney Thwaites, you're over there too. Yes, there's the Prime Minister, there's Mr. Sidney Thwaites, Mrs. Royd, and then John Royd, her son, Gary Cole, and Conrad George. Those are the people who will officially do the commissioning of the new equipment. We can see, if you look at your screens, you will see what is taking place. We can't be there physically, but here we are. This is Ms. Terry Long making sure that they get to the right spot. Prime Minister's donned his security vest. Is it 110 meters them a walk? There's something 110 meters long. Is all of that them walking? Why not? After that, all invited guests will be asked to participate in tours if you so desire.
Behind you, you'll see a whole variety of trays of paper in terms of what actually goes into the paper itself, the width, because at least a third of all cardboard boxes have recycled paper in them. So you have to keep rolls of recycled paper, rolls of fully craft paper, and so then depending on what our customer requires, we load that onto the line here, and Oswald can explain to you the different sections from single, from being, yeah, we'll go on Oswald.
So what John is doing is explaining the process, and now he's getting some assistance here.
Are capable of making up to 5 plies word. Right. So I have here as a sample what we call a single piece of web, where we combine 2 paper. One is called a liner, which forms the outer part, and the other section, which is called fluting, and it forms that sinusoidal wave. Right. This section is conveyed downstream, where a third layer is placed above this fluting to form a single wash. So we'll just walk along.
I know you're not hearing the details of that, but when you get your special tour, everybody will get their tour, then you'll hear the details.
So what you have in your hands, you'll see it goes over the top here to then join back down. When we need to do the 5 ply, that's what starts at the far end, and it comes and it merges with the other ply right before it goes into a chest.
So is there a glue that is applied?
Yes, so we have a starch kitchen in the back corner, and so what you're hearing pumping there is a lot of the starch going on.
Starch?
And so the glue, starch, yes. So the glue gets applied in these sections here. So as you can see, what you have in your hand is going
PM just asked about the gluing process, and John is explaining that.
So then be joined in later with a bottom level to make.
So how is it corrugated? The corrugation use heat?
Yes.
And water?
Right. So there's a combination of heat, pressure, and 2 rolls that has the corrugation profile. They are pressed under pressure and heat to form the corrugation of the paper.
Okay.
It is now on the tip of the flute that
The glue is applied. Okay. Yes. Yes. So is it the green button?
All right, so here we go, everybody. Please put your eyes to the screen. This is the commissioning that's about to take place. Yes, sir, we are.
You can hold it for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes. That's it? No, they tell me it's a black button. That's good, that's good. That's it?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to press it now. That's it?
I hear it.
Let it go.
Yes, sir. Woo! Could we put our hands together for the commissioning of this new equipment? We hear when the engine kicked in, and it's a gear, man, gear changing. Yeah, man. Serious things going on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Woo, woo, woo. Yes. Sound like it going up a hill. Mm-hmm. This is a wonderful day, a wonderful occasion.
That it's gone through the heating and the
So,
pressure. So now will come out the solid board.
look, keep your eyes on the screen. You see what is happening.
That's factory board that ends up you just put down there.
So you can make all types.
We can supply the market. In these sections, you'll see this is where it depends on the different types of board that we do. We have the capability to send out 2 different jobs at the same time, so we can merge to the paper so that we're most efficient. The branding you hear is all the waste trim being taken by vacuum to the back corner to be bundled and baled and sent off to recycling plants, where before it would go on the floor and have to be picked up by hand. Now we're able
Who does the recycling?
Who does recycling? I believe at the moment we are selling it locally. I'd have to check with somebody else on that, but it all gets taken offside from the back.
I don't know if you can hear the different sections of the equipment as they engage. You hear the sound changing.
Previously we could only have 1 job take off, so now we can have 2 jobs that come off at the same time, and they're not getting painstakingly bundled by the poor man at the end of the line. Now they get automatically bundled, and we're able to have a far more efficient takeoff with forklift drivers. So you'll see the bottom level lowers as it gets small to make it nice and square. And then once we're almost at the point where we'll be bringing it towards us here. Be loaded on.
So only cardboard boxes that you're making at the moment?
And for those of you who might be wondering, those people who work in the factory, they protect their hearing by wearing the appropriate technology, call it that, the earmuffs.
So you would be able to make boxes like for TVs, for all kinds of. Well, you don't supply the food market like for X-rays and that kind of.
We do the outer carton.
Okay.
Seems as if the factory is fully engaged now because you can hear the different sounds coming from the different areas. And you see what is being now
We're focusing on first things first,
about to be
which is
pushed
getting
out.
Jamaican boxes made in Jamaica to Jamaican companies. I think we're always very keen to look to expand in environmental aspects. My main joy of coming here to do things from cardboard is that I would hate it if it was plastic personally. So very happy that we're doing something that is renewable.
Don't worry, Tony. There's a sense of that stuff.
So,
Yeah, well, we can touch it. Yeah, that's it. Very nice.
so if you'd like to hold that for a photo. But yeah, so that is, at the start of the line you get some unsatisfactory board which you will have quality control go through, but this is what we would send to the Slichi.
And you can make thicker boards if you want.
Yes, so this is where, because we can also do the double.
Ah, this
So
is
that
much
is,
thicker.
that's good.
Much thicker.
Much thicker, much stronger for precious cargo that might break. Whereas that would really be a packing sheet almost.
All right, we'll have to run. Have to run.
You have to run.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. No problem.
Boy, I don't know if the Prime Minister will be able to keep his next appointment, but I just heard him say I have to run. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the commissioning of this new factory and equipment. And we thank the Prime Minister for carrying out that function. There will be opportunities for smaller groups to do the tour, and somebody from the company will guide you through that. As soon as the Prime Minister comes around, then we'll officially end the function. But there will be refreshments for you, but we just need to completely tidy up this part of it before I send you on for refreshments. Oh, he made a full circle. So he went here and he's